So even though wisdom has, the older guy sitting there, his hand on his chin, reflecting, or this broad sense of, I love the world, from this centered, compassionate place. And they've seen it all. They have different responses to having seen it all, but they've seen it all. And that's where their wisdom comes from. There's some sober, calm, centered quality to that. And it has a kind of rational, rational seeing and thinking, and not letting things get out of hand here. And these things also are fundamental to collective wisdom. Collective wisdom. We don't want to go overboard on anything. We want to have certain level of caution. There's the safety first thing is very present. And there's, a certain caution approach to wildness and chaos, but life in its most alive sense has a certain level of wildness and chaos, and exuberance is a bursting forth, a vibrancy. It's a sense of waste. There's too much. And that is part of what is rich about life, that makes life worth living. So we're trying to create broad long-term benefits, and that can't just be mere survival. It has to be, life is meaningful and rich, and we love it. We love being alive. We want to see what the next day brings. We want to express ourselves to the fullest. The sense of actualizing all these lives are coming into greater life. And that's different for everybody. For me, it has a lot to do with ideas. For other people, there's all sorts of other ways of expression. But we want to have that in our wise democracy. We're not just sitting around deliberating all the time. We're enjoying life. And that energy, the sense that people's energy and creativity, they're passionate about things, is one of the main tools. There's a whole other pattern discussing that. One of the main tools to seeing what needs to be done and actually doing it. That people bring their energy to it, that drives them into the kind of thinking and feeling and work that will create the world that we want. So it's both the shape of the world that we want and the shaping of the world that we want. Both have an element of exuberance, life energy, creativity, expression attached to it. So we want to keep that going. We want to support it. We want to support all vibrant expressions of aliveness. And we also need to, within reason, interesting phrase, within reason, we want to not have it blow everything out of the water, but we want it to feed not just what we're trying to do, but understandings of the bigger picture within which we're trying to do what we're doing. So that's the sense of people who are too creative, too chaotic, are the kind of fringes of our society. But we value the fringes, even though we might contain some of the energy. We value the fringes for bringing in the element of wild life and new ways of behaving and thinking about things, so that we never become too solidified, because life is constantly changing and we need to be flexible. And these people challenge us to be flexible. So dancing, performance, all the arts, vigorous enjoyment of anything and everything, wildness of usually positive expression is very desirable and supported. There's not a particular method for making people exuberant. There's more like methods for not stopping it, or for channeling it in ways that serve life and don't destroy life. And being willing to ride that edge, the edge of chaos, where we know if we do Too much chaos will kind of disperse into the environment. We'll cease to be able to hold our form. If we have too much order, we become too solid and can't respond. So quality exuberance, uh, may we say wise exuberance? I don't want to say that quite, but exuberance that comes from a very strong sense of aliveness will ride on that edge. Will test the limits of order, the cockapelli, the person who's always testing with humor and extreme perspectives. A lot of comedians and musicians will, and sometimes actors will test the edge of what's acceptable, but not destroy. It's not a smashing down that's going on. It's a testing the edge. So the exuberance is largely valuable, both for its freedom of flow of life and for testing the edges of the kinds of conclusions and order and predictability that we try to bring into our lives.